Hello and welcome to the latest update of Zebra BI Visuals for Power BI version 4.2. I'm Andrew of Zebra BI and I'll guide you through the latest features that we have just released. We've got a ton of new functionality, and most importantly we have delivered 4 scenarios with comparisons in Zebra BI tables. That was, I guess, the most frequently requested feature by our users. So now it's here and I've got a great demo to demonstrate how you can use this. Next, we have added the functionality of highlighting individual data points or individual rows in your Zebra BI tables and in your Zebra BI charts, which will allow you to use certain colors for highlighting certain important elements, and you can use different colors for that, and those colors will actually stick to the category names, so they're kind of automatically coded with this new highlighting features. We have also added a lot of new design features. So now you have much more control over the design in both visuals, especially in Zebra BI charts, where you can set things like opacity for certain colors. We have added new styles of arrows in different highlights and so on. So we've packed this all together into this new design options category. So bear with me where I'll present all the details in the next demos. In my first demo, I will demonstrate how you can use up to 4 different scenarios in Zebra BI tables and why is that important. Alright, so in my table here, in my example, I have some sales data. So I have my actual sales divided by divisions and groups of business units. So when I add a new measure for previous year, I can drop the previous year here. And this will create a comparison between actual and previous year. Of course, I can also add a plan for that. Now I have comparison of actual versus previous year and versus plan with all the variances calculated automatically by Zebra BI tables. Now, what is new is that now you can also add the 4th scenario, which in my case is a forecast. All right, so what happens? I bring in the forecast and now I have 4 scenarios here. The previous year, the actual, the plan, and the forecast, and all the variances. So I have 3 absolute variances and 3 relative variances. Now this visual behaves as it did, in previous versions, only that it now works with more scenarios. So if you make the visual bigger, if there's enough space, the charts will become bigger, and when you make the charts the visual more narrow, the charts will behave responsively, and Zebra BI will just simply try to provide the best display for the given size of the visual. Now, given that you have so much data in your table, it is important that you now control completely the design of the table. So there are further options that will help you control the design. First of all, you can affect the behavior of the charts if you simply change the minimum chart width. So this is now important. You can change this to a smaller number, like 100 pixels, which means that the charts will collapse into table columns when the chart width is 100 pixels. Very, very simple. So, which means that you can produce more narrow charts. All right, so this is one feature that is important when you have a lot of columns in your table. The second one, of course, is our old, option to change any type of column from a chart to a table column with just the numbers. So now I have fixed design for my relative variances. They will stay displayed as numbers and not as charts. The new feature of comparing 4 scenarios now works with all the rest of Zebra BI features. So you can add the grand totals, you can reshuffle columns around, so you can simply create your own preferred order of the columns. You can put like the plan here at the back and the forecast here. So you can completely reshuffle things around to make sure that the layout of your tables will match your corporate design style and preferences of your end users. One more thing, of course, you can add more measures into Zebra BI tables. Like, for example, I can now calculate my portfolio share and add this new measure into the values bucket here, and I will get an additional column in Zebra BI tables. So now with the latest version of Zebra BI tables 4.2, you can add up to 4 basic scenarios and then up to 10 additional measures like my portfolio percentage here. In my next example, I will demonstrate the new highlighting options in Zebra BI charts and in Zebra BI tables. So, what's new? In Zebra BI charts, you simply hover with your mouse above the category on your axis, right-click, and you'll find a new option called the highlight. If you simply enable this, the columns will be highlighted. Very simple, by using a default color. This default color is now set in the design options of Zebra BI, so you will find a new highlight color. So this is my default color, but I can actually change this color individually on any visual. So, for example, if you click here on this little blue square here, this is actually the color picker, right? So now we allow you to individually change the colors on your highlights, so maybe like this. Save it, and now you've got a yellow highlight. And more, you can now also add multiple colors, multiple highlights with multiple colors. So if I highlight Q2 in blue, this is what you get. All right. This now works in all Zebra BI charts. So we saw this on our column charts, but it also works in our area charts, in our line charts. All right, like that. Good. Next, you can do similar thing in Zebra BI tables where you can highlight individual rows. For example, to highlight the wearables category here, right-click and enable this. Again, you can change the color here by selecting it from our color picker or by typing the exact RGB color code here in the edit box. Once ready, just save it and this highlight will be displayed in the Zebra BI visual. Now, this highlight is completely dynamic, so if the user will sort the tables in a different sort order, of course, the highlight will stick to the data category that is highlighted. In my third and last example, I will demonstrate the new design features that we have shipped with Zebra BI version 4.2. Let me show you an example where we have already used those design features. Namely, this is our stock market example that we have published a couple of weeks ago. And we have already used the new design features. Namely, here I have 200 area charts in one Zebra BI visual. And these charts, of course, when you're doing something so extreme, you need to have more control over your design to control exactly the colors, the highlights, the labels, and so on, right? So how did we do this? Let me switch to Power BI desktop. All right, so this is now the Zebra BI charts visual. And this would be the standard Zebra BI color scheme, the red and green areas and so on. And now what we have added in version 4.2 are many new design features, including, first of all, the area opacities. All right, so in the area chart, you can control the base area opacity, which means, what is the opacity of this gray area behind the chart. So with 100%, this would be your normal gray color, but you can now decrease the area opacity to get a lighter chart, or set this to 0 to get completely transparent color below the chart. And now you can do similar thing here with the variance area opacity. Okay, so I can actually desaturate the color here by decreasing the percentage here, which results in lighter red and green colors in the areas, whereas the color on the difference highlight will stay green. So my focus as an end user will be more on the end point where the difference highlights the most important information. So this is number one, the area opacities. Next, when you have very small charts, like my charts here are extremely small, and if you want to make them even smaller, so we want to condense this, right? You need to have more control over the behavior of the visual and over all of the labels and so on. So what you can do now is, first of all, I will decrease the number of pixels needed to represent one data point in this chart. So I'll just switch to like 8 pixels per data category. So getting extremely small, narrow charts. And now, of course, I have a problem with my labels here, because the labels simply get, overlapped or truncated and so on. So you need more control over axis labels. That's why we have this new option in the categories group of settings called the axis label density. And instead of just, displaying all the labels like you would in a normal chart, you can display just like the first and the last label. All right, so this is quite useful when you are trying to increase your information density. So you will find that you can display all the labels on the axis, just first and last, or every nth, like every second or every third label and so on. So you have much more control over the labels in your charts. Next design feature here are the difference highlights. So now in this difference highlight, we have added a couple of options here. Difference highlight, it's here, so you can basically control the line width. So you can make, the difference highlights more focused, bigger, and will attract more attention, or you can have more slick and narrow design of your difference highlight, and then you can choose from a number of arrows that we have added now, like the closed arrow or an open arrow. There are many styles for you to explore and make sure that will fit your design for particular purpose. All right, the next maybe important feature is also the ability to control the design in the lines or in the line charts and area charts. For example, if I open the design settings here, you will find here under more colors, right? So by default this will be off, but if you open more colors, now you have a lot of colors for controlling the lines for the comparison scenarios. For example, I can just choose a different color for the plan here, which renders, a blue chart. So now I have a blue chart here. In a line chart it would look like this, and the ability to display the standard IBCS patterns or not, so which basically means that you can now control every line individually. So these were the major new features in Zebra BI Visuals for Power BI version 4.2. To recap, we have seen the ability of Zebra BI Tables Visual to display up to 4 scenarios with variances and with 10 additional custom calculated columns. We have seen the new highlighting options where you can highlight certain data points in your Zebra BI charts and your Zebra BI tables, and we have seen the new design options in Zebra BI 4.2 that I hope will make your dashboards even more understandable and actionable. So I do invite you to import the Zebra BI visuals from Microsoft App Stores, try the free trial of the Pro version, and also explore our webpage for our great new examples that we have on the page, our PBIX demos and webinar recordings.